Welcome back. This is Spiritual Actualization. I'm Will Rucker, and in this video, I share the secret to learning to love yourself. I also share the root cause of the suffering and pain of the world and how you can overcome it. Stay tuned. I've got my green tea. Let's get into it. I spend a lot of time speaking, teaching, preaching about self-love, about love in general, but in 2020, I am really honing in on self-love. Why is that? It's because in all the years that I've been shouting this message from the mountaintops, the thing that I neglected to really grasp or to share is the importance of beginning with yourself. Whitney Houston said, the greatest love of all is learning to love yourself. And while she didn't write those lyrics, the twist and spin and spirit she gave that song really made it her own. And it's something that I echo today. Truly, the greatest love of all is learning to love yourself. Why is that? It's because without having this sense of self-love, any other love you try to extend is artificial. It's fake, it's fraudulent, it's empty, it's void. It's not real. Because until you love yourself, you really can't truly love another. Because for love to be true love, it must be unconditional. Meaning there is no need for exchange. I'm not doing this in an effort to get something from you or to gain something or even to make myself feel good, which we use love that way a lot. True love has to be unconditional. And for it to be unconditional, you must be whole just as you are. For love to be unconditional, it means that you're not giving it as a tit for tat or quid pro quo or exchange or an effort to become something. Love is this amazing thing. Truly, love is all there is if we want to look at it from an absolute perspective. All that exists because of love. It exists as love because love is all that is real. And, that's a big and until we really understand the fullness of who we are, of what we are, then love has nothing to attach to. See, love is what is real, but for it to be made manifest or evident or for it to actualize, there has to be a vessel. There has to be a recipient. That's the thing about the universe. There is but one verse, one verse. There is but one God. There is but one creation, but one existence, but one mind. And that mind is experiencing itself in trillions and trillions of forms because that self is love. Love, by its very essence and nature, has to be given and it has to be received. And so in order for you to tap into that purity of love, you must first have that love for and as yourself. So many of us are searching for love. We're searching for something to feel fulfilled, to feel gratified by, to enjoy. We're seeking after pleasure, not realizing that joy is something so much greater. And we've confused pleasure and joy. We think that, I'm having this pleasure experience and that's joy. No, joy is so much bigger. Joy is an outworking of true love. And for you to truly experience joy, you have to love yourself. Now, I do want to throw in this disclaimer, my big asterisk, saying that I don't want you to be a narcissist. In fact, narcissism is an absence of true love. Narcissists have the lowest self-esteem of any people on the planet. It is a clinical diagnosis and all of that, and I am not coming to you in the psychological professional hat. That's not what this is. But just as a generality, narcissism stems from a lack of self-esteem. True esteem springs forth as a well that creates humility. It just, when you really value yourself, you see the beauty and the value of others, and you don't have to coerce that love. You don't have to coerce that esteem or that value. You know your worth. You know who you are. And that is where everything else stems from. And so a narcissist lacks that understanding, and that's why it's all about them, because they really feel so insecure and so devalued that they must force others to give them a sense of worth and value. They must assert their dominance in order to make it through the day. And so honestly, my heart bleeds with compassion for the narcissist. I'm not taken by the narcissist, but I do have immense compassion, and I can certainly empathize, because even to this moment, there are days where the love for myself isn't fully full. It's not present as it should be. Even today, like 2020, after I've been preaching this and teaching this for years, I still have days when I don't love myself the way I'm worthy of. And I don't beat myself up about that. I don't say, oh, you're such a horrible person for not loving yourself. That's not how this works either. But I do recognize, yes, some days are better than others. And I share that to say, don't beat yourself up because you haven't reached a point where you truly know your worth. And I've got news for you. If you really, really knew your true worth, that light that shines within you, you would be borderline narcissist, because you're like freaking amazing. Like the light in you is so powerful and so purifying that if you really let it loose, my goodness. Marianne Williamson has a work, and it's called Our Greatest Fear or Our Deepest Fear, something along that line. And it begins by saying our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. It is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our greatness that frightens us, not our inadequacies. And I'm paraphrasing just from memory there. But that work is so powerful because she dives into the core of what I'm sharing with you today, which is you do know in your knower who you are. Like deep down in your soul, in your belly, in your essence, in your DNA, you know how amazing you are. That's why you take offense when someone else doesn't see it. That's why you try to buy love and affection from others, because you're like, hey, I'm really great. See it, please see it. But it's perverted, it's twisted, it's not manifesting in a pure form when you do it that way. Love is the greatest force there is because it is the essence of existence itself. So learning to love yourself is truly what allows you to love others. It's what allows you to freely give. It's what allows you to compliment others, to tell them they're amazing, to let someone else go before you. Not in a I'm a doormat, oh, I'm so unworthy. Religion will tell you that you're unworthy. Religion will tell you that you need to be saved and fixed and made over. But the truth of the matter is you just got to wake up. And so take that religious framework that says your righteousness is as filthy rags, and then just reshape it from this perspective of love. If I had buttoned this shirt and missed the top button, the entire shirt would be misaligned. Well, for many of us, our starting point in life is simply misaligned. We started in the wrong hole. We have taken this idea that we are broken and lacking and missing something and then run with it. We've taken that to the extreme. But think about a seed, any seed of your choice, an apple seed perhaps, a lemon seed, an avocado seed if you're bougie like me. Think about that seed. Is there anything inherently wrong with it? Probably not, right? You don't look at the seed and say, oh my gosh, you suck, you have no fruit. Why? Because you know that there's potential in that seed. You see, we've taken perfection and completely missed the boat on it. You, my friend, are perfect. Just take a moment to say that. Say, I am perfect. Now say, I am perfect just as I am. How does that feel? A little uncomfortable? Perfection has been so tainted, and the meaning of perfection truly has been twisted. Really, if you look at what perfection really is, it's simply love. When we take the scriptures that are from the Christian Bible and say God is love, we also say God is perfect. We're saying the same thing. Love, my friend, is perfection. When you truly love, you are being God. And I don't mean you're acting like God. I mean you're literally being God. I know that's heavy. But recognize God is love. Think back to the 10 Commandments. And Jesus was questioned, what is the greatest commandment? And he said the first one is to love the Lord your God, and the second one is just like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. That's the whole ball game, folks. Love. That's it. Love. He took it a step further. He said, love others as I have loved you. And do you know why he did that? He did that because he recognized the fundamental flaw in the idea that we could love others as we love ourselves. It's that love ourselves part. We have been so programmed and so conditioned to not love ourselves. If you look at marketing, it's always telling you what you don't have. It's convincing you that you lack something. You don't drive a BMW, so you're not cool enough. You don't drink this brand of beer, so you're not one of the cool kids. You don't take this vacation, so you're not awesome. Everything is trying to tell you what you lack in order to get you to strive, in order to become. Spirituality is really nice because spirituality is the path of the heart, the essence of the human soul. And what spirituality does is it unleashes the reality of who you are. It doesn't seek to make you over. It gives you tools to disrobe, to take off your armor, to take off your mask, so to speak. We all do this. We walk around pretending to be something we hope others will love, not recognizing that the most valuable thing we could be is ourselves. If we just be who we is, we will be amazing. And I say it that way to try to be funny, but I really do mean that. If you simply live as you are, your true essence, not the traumatized self that is trying to put up defenses and protect, but if you live as who you really are, that loving, gentle, generous, abundant soul that doesn't understand limitation, let alone experience them, you will recognize how powerful you are, and that power will be wielded in such a way that it blesses others. Because this life isn't meant to be lived alone. We also often get into these spiritual trances, so to speak, where we magnify some of our personality flaws and call it spiritual. And I use flaw in a way, and I don't love that word, but for our conversation today, we'll use it. One flaw is that I'm an introvert thing. So I'm going to go and I'm just going to meditate all day. I'm just going to light my incense and rub my crystals. I don't know what your thing is, but a lot of us isolate as a sense of like a self-medication. It's like a drug. Isolation becomes the way we cope with life. And that needing to cope ultimately stems from a lack of loving oneself. Yes, a mother loves her child. You probably love your puppies, your kittens, or your muskrats, whatever it is you keep as a pet. But do you really? Or do you really love how that thing makes you feel? Do you love the fact that now you have a child and now you feel needed? Like you have something you can strive to accomplish, like you can make a difference in the world? Is your ministry that? Your teachings, your writings, your work? Are you doing that because you feel as though you have to do that in order to be worthy of this life? Or are you doing it out of a sense that this is who you are? I make these type of videos because this is just who I am. And sitting here saying this just to myself, I think it's more profitable to share these musings with you. But I look back over time and I'll go back to some of the old tapings and I'll say, wow, that was really good. I really need to hear that because it's for me. But it's out of who I am that I share it, not out of a need to become. I don't have to become a YouTube star to feel valuable. I don't have to be a billionaire to feel like I have a sense of worth. That's not the need I have. in this moment. Now, catch me Tuesday night, and maybe this is a different story, because we all go through these cycles. That's what life is really. It just is a cycle. The planet turns, right? And then it circles the sun, and then the galaxy is constantly moving. Everything is a cycle. And that's why we have ebbs and flows, ups and downs. Because here's the bigger picture. When you really have that sense of worth, when you know just how valuable you are, and you really learn to love yourself, then you don't dread the downtimes. You participate in suffering joyfully. You recognize that hard times are a part of life, and you welcome them. You can't welcome hardship if you don't love yourself. Because when hardship comes and you don't love yourself, you feel as though it's a punishment. Maybe you've made a terrible mistake. Maybe you've stolen from someone. Maybe you've beaten someone. You've cheated on someone. Maybe you broke the speed limit. I don't know. But maybe that's something that you've done is causing you to beat yourself up and feel as though you need to be punished. You know, religion does a good job of that. It says that particularly Christianity, as much as it flaunts and taunts forgiveness, it doesn't actually believe in it in its mainstream teachings. Christianity says your horrible downfallness was paid for by Jesus. And so now God can love you because he exhausted his wrath by beating and crucifying Jesus and making him bleed and suffer. It doesn't say God just forgave you. But that's the manifestation of a person's point of view that lacks self-love. It's a self-loathing perspective versus a self-loving one. You see, forgiveness stems from understanding your innate worth, your sovereignty as an eternal, invincible force that is spirit. At your core, you are limitless. At your core, you are energy in manifestation as a human. At your core, that's what you are. You are energy and light and love. That's what you are. Now you're manifesting this human form. And you've chosen these limitations that humans experience. But these limitations are the result of your limitlessness because you've chosen to experience it. At a deeper level, you know that this is the truth. You know in your soul that this isn't all that you are. And it can also be very perplexing and confusing because you're like, wait a minute, I know there's more to life than what I'm experiencing. And so maybe I'm deficient because I'm not experiencing everything there is. But here's the reality. You chose this path to experience so that you could really awaken to the love that you are. I know that's a lot. I know that that's kind of metaphysical in a sense, or out there, or new agey, or whatever the term, derogatory used against it. I get that. I've been there. I've thought those things, and I've wrestled with these concepts in such a way that, wow, at some time, like, am I going crazy? Am I being deceived by Satan himself? Has he chosen me as his object of deceit? Like, I've thought all of these thoughts, and I said, well, maybe I'm losing my mind. Maybe I'm just trying to rationalize why I am at this place in my life, and it's not where I thought I'd be. And then I realized this is exactly where I'm supposed to be, because it's the path I chose long before I incarnated in this flesh, in this body, as this person. Ultimately, again, there is but one mind. And there's but one energy and one force and one existence. And as that existence has become aware of itself, it's divided into trillions of life forms. So I am a human, Homo sapien, and I'm assuming you may be that as well. You may be another life form watching, I don't know. But that's what we are. And you may have a dog. That dog, though, is just as divine as you. And that tree is just as divine as your angel is. And your camera that you take your selfies with, it's just as divine as the Bible you read. You have to recognize that we are truly one, and your value is not determined by how you manifest. Your value is determined by the simple fact that you exist. Now, this is hard because we want to place ourselves above others in order to feel of substance and of value. I have more of this than you. I'm more pretty than you. I'm thinner, baby. Yeah, all of these things, right? And we try to do that in a sense of comparison. But comparison is a fruit of the lack of love for oneself. Do you get it? Everything that is wrong with the world stems from a lack of self-love. So we could call the original sin the loss of self-love. The first time someone was told, oh, you didn't do that right, maybe they lost their sense of self-love because they esteemed that other person in the right way. Because you should have infinite esteem for even your enemy, but especially for those that you love. Infinite esteem. So if someone that you infinitely esteem then says you messed up, it probably should take some sort of effect, right? That's tough. You have to be centered in who you are in order for that not to negatively impact you. When you are offered correction, take it as a love note, because that's really what's happening. When you are being aligned, sometimes it does hurt. Sometimes, I mean, recognize that, again, perfection is love. Perfection doesn't mean getting everything right all the time. The Christian Bible even says God got it wrong. That's the whole reason for Noah's flood. Oh dear, I made man and they suck. That's basically, I paraphrase that, right? It doesn't actually say it that way. But that's the short version, that's the Cliff Notes. He made man and then said, oh, man didn't turn out the way I planned, so let's try this again. God messed up. And so give yourself the freedom to mess up and still know that it doesn't impact your value or your worth. So I really just want to conclude this particular video with a reminder. You are not just a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. All the components that make up divinity and the universe and God reside within you. Yes, you are infinitely powerful, infinitely valuable, and infinitely loved by all of creation. And with that knowledge, now it's time to infinitely love yourself. Because as RuPaul would say, if you don't love yourself, how in the hell are you gonna love somebody else? And she shake her hair, she got a wig and stuff. I love RuPaul. Y'all should check out, she got a Netflix show. Give me some money, RuPaul, I'm promoting you. Yeah, she on Netflix, she got AJ and the Queen. So I just share that with you because I want you to know how important this is. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in a drop. Own that today and know that you are enough just as you are. You are smart enough just as you are. You are talented enough just as you are. You are beautiful enough just as you are. You are deserving enough just as you are. Know that. Know that. And from that place, choose to expand. From that place, choose to grow and develop and mature. From that place, recognize that you may be in seed form at this moment. But when you are planted and nurtured and watered and cared for, you will expand into a tree that produces fruit that can feed a nation. All of that is in you already. You don't lack anything. It's just time to disrobe, baby. That's all. I love you. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thanks so much.